I found myself utterly powerless in front of Jason, my husband's brother. That night, we were alone in the mansion. Rain poured outside, and the fireplace blazed with a roaring fire. I couldn't resist him. I gave in. My body and heart were consumed by a passion I shouldn't have felt. I was burning with desire. I know it's wrong, but I was feeling so neglected. I was married to Daniel, a powerful man everyone feared and admired. I lived a life of luxury, respect, and control. But in the shadows, my heart raced for Jason. Subscribe to the channel and tell me, how far would you go for a forbidden love? Imagine being torn between desire and loyalty, between a love that sets your soul ablaze and a loyalty that could cost you everything. Emily never imagined that a single night could turn her life upside down. Married to Daniel, a powerful and cold man, she always felt secure in her luxurious but empty marriage. What no one knew was that her heart burned for Jason, her husband's younger brother, and that night, all boundaries would be broken. The air in the mansion felt heavy, as if anticipating danger, and the attraction between Emily and Jason was impossible to ignore. It was there, in the silence that only lovers understand, that the clear transgression began to unfold. Jason also felt the weight of guilt, but desire spoke louder. Every touch was a mixture of pleasure and fear, like walking on the edge of a precipice. He knew that loyalty to his brother and family was at stake, but the intensity of the moment was irresistible. Emily's gaze, full of vulnerability and dangerous passion, ignited something primal in him. They lost themselves in the silent dance of a forbidden romance, aware that every sigh was a battle between reason and desire. The mansion, which once seemed safe and imposing, was now an accomplice to the transgression. The silence of the mansion was broken by sighs that should never have existed, Jason thought, as if the very walls breathed with them. The narrative of the forbidden romance unfolded with every touch, every sigh, and the danger made the experience even more intense. Emily felt her soul vibrate with emotion and guilt, a whirlwind of feelings that no ordinary romance novel could explain. Meanwhile, every gesture and every glance between them became a deadly game. Her body burning, the sheets a silent witness of the forbidden night, echoed in Emily's mind, as she knew that night would change everything. Dangerous passion completely dominated them, but it also made them vulnerable to any slip-up. Every movement had unseen consequences, and every touch was a reminder that they were playing with fire within the most explosive love triangle imaginable. The tension reached its peak when the silence was almost broken by small noises from the house. Emily felt her heart pounding as if each beat announced Daniel's imminent arrival. Jason, despite his alpha demeanor and control, couldn't hide his internal turmoil. They knew the moment was irresistible, but every second brought them closer to the climax of absolute danger, the possibility of being discovered. Their secret love burned intensely, impossible to extinguish, but equally deadly. And then, as in a suspenseful movie mixing desire and pain, Daniel entered the mansion earlier than they expected. The atmosphere changed instantly. Adrenaline exploded, chilling both of their blood. The cinematic moment was about to become real, and the truth they tried to hide was about to be revealed. The night of passion that began as an escape from loneliness now transformed into a game of survival and emotions impossible to control. But the worst was yet to come. The clock seemed to mock the tension in the air as Daniel opened the bedroom door without knocking. His heart pounding, he froze at the scene he never imagined. Emily and Jason, bodies intertwined, lost in forbidden passion, were living proof of the love triangle he feared. The apartment's silence was shattered by everyone's shock, each heavy breath laden with guilt and dangerous desire. In that instant, Daniel's world turned into a film noir, an alpha male romance where betrayal and power collide. Daniel's gaze was a storm about to break, cold and calculating, yet filled with pain. He didn't need words to understand the transgression. The scent of perfume and sweat, the marked sheets, the electric tension in the air, everything told the truth. Emily tried to cover herself, but her vulnerability and remorse made it impossible to hide what her body had already revealed. The pain of seeing their secret love exposed chilled him to the bone, but it also ignited a contained fury that only a betrayed man could feel. Jason slowly stood up, each step echoing like a warning that there would be no escape. He knew loyalty to the family had been broken and that his desire for Emily was now a dangerous weapon. Guilt and desire clashed within him, creating an almost unbearable tension. Every gesture, every breath, every look carried the weight of a forbidden romance that could destroy lives. He realized the dangerous passion he shared with Emily had become an emotional survival game. Emily wept silently, feeling the weight of every choice she had made. The pain of loving and betraying at the same time consumed her, but the fire of desire still burned, impossible to extinguish. She knew nothing could undo the betrayal, that the love triangle was now exposed, and that Daniel, with his piercing gaze, would not be easily forgiven. Every unspoken word became heavier. Every gesture of remorse seemed insufficient given the magnitude of the transgression. The environment seemed to vibrate with the electricity of the moment, as if every piece of furniture, every shadow was aware of the emotional disaster unfolding. Daniel took deep breaths, trying to maintain control, but the mix of anger, pain, and confusion burned within him. Emily and Jason, meanwhile, tried to explain the inexplicable, but the tension allowed no words. The silence was more eloquent than any declaration, each look loaded with meaning, each gesture revealing hidden desires and fears. In that instant, it became clear that nothing would ever be the same. Broken trust, exposed secret love, mixed guilt and desire, it all came together in an emotional climax that would change their lives forever. Every breath carried danger. Every look challenged limits, and everyone knew the next decision would define their destiny. The world seemed suspended, ready to explode, and deep down, they all knew the real battle was yet to come. But the worst was yet to come.
The following morning dawned with a heavy silence, each step echoing like a warning through the apartment. Daniel watched Emily and Jason intently, scrutinizing every gesture, measuring every word. He knew something had irrevocably changed, yet he still lacked concrete proof. The tension was almost unbearable, as if the air itself crackled with electricity, each glance carrying the promise of imminent confrontation. Emily felt the weight of his every breath, fear mingling with the forbidden desire burning in her chest, making each second more intense. Jason tried to maintain his composure, but every time his eyes met Daniel's, his heart would race, reminding him of the passionate night and the danger now lurking in every move. He found himself caught between loyalty and secret love, knowing that any misstep could shatter the fragile balance. Emily, meanwhile, attempted to hide her turmoil, but each accidental touch from Jason reignited the fiery memory of the dangerous passion they had shared. The love triangle, once invisible, now felt palpable, laden with tension and vulnerability. Every casual encounter seemed calculated, as if the house itself were conspiring to reveal hidden secrets. Daniel began to plan his next moves, carefully considering each step in question, ready to uncover the truth. Emily and Jason, aware of the constant surveillance, felt like fish caught in an invisible net. Every gesture observed and interpreted, every look registered. Fear and desire mixed explosively, making their forbidden romance even more addictive and perilous. That evening, the three found themselves in the living room, each attempting to maintain a facade of normalcy. Daniel spoke of business, but his words carried a silent tension, as if he were daring Emily to betray him again. Jason remained quiet, knowing that any reaction could be fatal. Emily tried to hide behind a smile, but the vulnerability in her eyes betrayed what her heart wanted to say. The forbidden romance became almost tangible, each second heightening the sense of impending danger. The environment seemed to conspire against them. The soft lighting revealed more than it concealed. Every sound was amplified, and every shadow appeared to hide secrets. Emily and Jason exchanged quick glances, small gestures filled with meaning, while Daniel noticed every nuance, like a suspicious alpha male who senses the truth before it's even spoken. Dangerous passion and fear intertwined, turning every moment into a risky dance between desire and destruction. Daniel's plan began to form, silent and relentless, while Emily and Jason sought ways to keep their secret alive. Each decision became a high-stakes gamble, every move fraught with tension. The silent war was about to begin, and everyone knew the next step could seal their fates. And as the clock ticked forward, one certainty hung in the air. No one would emerge unscathed from this web of passion, betrayal, and a love triangle. But the worst was yet to come.
The silence of the night was broken by the firm sound of a key turning in the lock. Daniel entered, his eyes burning with a mix of anger and disappointment, each step marked by the authority of an alpha male who doesn't tolerate betrayal. Emily felt her blood run cold, every memory of the forbidden night burning like an invisible brand on her skin. Jason tried to compose himself, but the tension between them was palpable, as if every breath could detonate the bomb about to explode. The love triangle, which had once been a secret flame, was now becoming a storm about to break. Daniel stopped in the center of the room, studying every movement, every gesture that could confirm his worst fears. Emily approached slowly, trying to explain, but the words seemed insufficient, swallowed by the weight of guilt and the still pulsing desire. Jason remained silent, his heart pounding, knowing that any reaction could be interpreted as a confession. Emily's vulnerability and Jason's internal conflict became evident, amplifying the drama and pain of an impossible romance. How could you? Daniel's voice cut through the air, low, steady, and laden with menace. Each word was a sharp blade, capable of tearing not just trust, but also the fragile facade they had maintained. Emily swallowed hard, knowing nothing could erase what had happened. The secret love, the dangerous passion, and the clear transgression intertwined, creating a scenario of almost cinematic tension. Every breath, every glance, every breath carried an almost unbearable intensity. Jason stepped forward, trying to protect Emily, but felt the weight of loyalty crushing his shoulders. Daniel immediately noticed the tension between them, the undeniable chemistry he had tried to ignore and now could no longer deny. The forbidden romance revealed itself in its rawest form, every gesture, every touch, every sigh, making it impossible to hide the truth. The silent war was turning into an inevitable confrontation where desire and rage blurred. Emily, overcome by fear and passion, tried to explain with tears in her eyes, but Daniel merely watched her, calculating every detail, absorbing the betrayal and vulnerability simultaneously. The drama of the love triangle exploded in the air like thunder that couldn't be contained. Jason knew he could no longer deny it, that the secret kept between them had reached a point of no return. Pain and desire clashed, creating an electric tension that seemed to consume the surrounding air. Finally, every glance, every gesture, every breath carried the inevitable truth. The forbidden romance had been revealed. The atmosphere filled with a heavy silence. Guilt and desire merged into an almost palpable mixture. Daniel took a deep breath, absorbing the magnitude of the betrayal, while Emily and Jason felt that nothing would ever be the same. The dangerous passion, the vulnerability, and the love triangle had reached their explosive climax. And yet, each knew the game wasn't over, but the worst was yet to come. The air felt too thick to breathe, every glance loaded with unspoken words. Daniel took a few steps back, still processing the betrayal, while Emily felt her heart freeze, her vulnerability reaching its limit. Jason remained there, torn between forbidden desire and the loyalty he'd always promised his brother. Each breath seemed to explode with tension. The forbidden romance and dangerous passion now laid bare like flames for all to see. It was a moment of decision where any move could change their lives forever. Emily looked at Daniel, her eyes filled with regret and fear, but also with a flame she couldn't extinguish. The pain of knowing she had crossed an irreversible line mingled with the attraction she felt for Jason, making it impossible to choose just one emotion. Jason felt the weight of guilt, but also the pull of desire. Every gesture from Emily reminded him of what they had shared. The love triangle had become inevitable, and the choice they made would define everything. Daniel took a deep breath, each word measured like a silent blow. He knew trust had been shattered, but he still felt the love and history they had built. "Emily, we need to decide now what this means for us," he said, his voice firm though not without pain. The consequences of every decision hung in the air like a shadow, and everyone's vulnerability mingled with the tension of an impossible love. It was time to face the truth, however harsh it might be. Emily, trembling, realized she could no longer run from herself. Desire, passion, and guilt intertwined, and she knew a choice had to be made. Continue the forbidden romance or salvage what was left of the marriage? Jason knew loyalty would be tested, but his heart told him he couldn't deny what he felt. Every second felt like an eternity, every gesture charged with almost unbearable intensity. The love triangle had reached its final turning point. Finally, each of them pulled back slightly, breathing, absorbing the reality. Daniel decided he would protect himself and his family, but also that the pain of this moment would transform them forever. Emily understood that certain passions, however intense, couldn't survive without destroying everything around them. Jason retreated, recognizing that desire couldn't win against loyalty without fatal consequences. A heavy silence filled the room, and they all knew life would never be the same, but that they could now move forward, with choices made and hearts marked. In the end, each heart carried scars of pain, desire, and regret. The secret love, the dangerous passion, and the love triangle had taught hard lessons about boundaries, vulnerability, and impossible choices. Each final glance held the memory of what was, but also the awareness of what needed to be. They learned that even in stories of impossible love, there are always consequences, and that life demands courage to face truths that burn the soul. But the worst had passed, and the future began to emerge, uncertain, yet free of secrets. Emily always thought she could control her heart, but when the forbidden desire for Jason, her husband Daniel's brother, took over, everything changed. The passion seemed irresistible, and every touch ignited a flame that threatened to destroy her life. She felt more alive than ever, yet trapped in a love triangle that quickly became dangerous. The luxury and security of her marriage were no match for the forbidden attraction, and so she began walking down a path from which there was no return. The night she gave in to temptation marked the breaking point. The silence of the mansion was shattered by sighs that should never have existed, and the walls held the secret of her transgression. Guilt immediately intertwined with desire, creating an unbearable emotional confusion. She realized that every choice that seemed pleasurable carried a high price. What started as a secret passion quickly became a trap of pain and regret. Jason also struggled between loyalty to his brother and the intensity of forbidden desire. Every glance between them carried a tension impossible to ignore.
They knew any slip could cost them dearly, yet passion spoke louder. Every gesture, every restrained smile fueled the fire of attraction, and as they secretly surrendered to it, Emily began to realize that nothing could justify betraying someone who trusted her. Daniel's return brought inevitable suspicion. Little signs, avoided glances, and nervous gestures began to reveal the truth. Emily realized that the man to whom she owed loyalty was not only dangerous in business, but also in her personal life. The constant mix of fear and desire made her heart race with anxiety, and when the truth came to light, the betrayal proved irreversible, leaving deep marks on everyone involved. The climax was devastating. Daniel caught them together, and the shock was immediate. The scene, charged with hatred, sadness, and betrayal, showed that forbidden passion is never free. Emily understood, too late, that giving in to temptation brought only pain, fear, and regret. What seemed exciting in the moment turned into an emotional prison, and no luxury or affection could repair what had been destroyed. Betrayal, no matter how intense, always leaves a trail of destruction. The lesson is clear. When love becomes impossible, self-respect and honesty are the safest path. If you feel attracted to someone forbidden, the best choice is to step away, reflect, and, if necessary, end things before disaster strikes. Life gives us choices, and every decision carries inevitable consequences. Emily paid the price for giving in to dangerous passion, but viewers can learn from her pain. After all, preserving integrity and emotional safety is always more valuable than any forbidden pleasure. In the end, Emily learned the hard way that forbidden passion is never worth the pain it brings. Betrayal leaves deep scars, destroys trust, and can put lives at risk, especially when dangerous people are involved. True love and respect start with honesty, with yourself and with others. If you feel drawn to someone you shouldn't, the best choice is to step away before it's too late. Ask yourself, is it really worth risking your life and happiness for a passion that only brings suffering? Remember, recognizing the signs and acting with courage can save you from lifelong regrets. Walking away before giving in to temptation isn't weakness, it's emotional intelligence. Every choice we make shapes our future, and integrity is worth more than any fleeting pleasure. Want to build healthy relationships and avoid heartache? Learn from Emily. Respect your limits, protect your heart, and make conscious choices. If you've been through something similar or know someone facing the same dilemma, reflect. How would your life be different if you made the right choice before the tragedy? Share your experiences and help others avoid mistakes that come at a high cost. Don't wait for pain to knock at your door to learn your lesson. Life is too short to live in the shadow of guilt and fear. Prioritize your emotional safety, peace of mind, and well-being. Intense desire may be tempting, but it should never replace self-respect and honesty. Protect yourself before it's too late. And if you want to keep learning about relationships, forbidden passion, and how to navigate dangerous emotional dilemmas, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you'll find stories that teach real lessons and help you make wiser choices. Now think, are you ready to take control of your love life and not let desires destroy everything? Remember, every choice matters and your integrity is your greatest treasure.